Joining me now, Austin Sarek. He's professor of jurisprudence and political science at Amherst College, author of the book Gruesome Spectacles, Botched Executions, and America's Death Penalty. Austin, it occurs to me there's a particular kind of American exceptionalism at play in which we are one of the only, if the only, sort of developed democracy that has the death penalty, and are engaged in this kind of endless litigation and parsing and process to make sure we're doing it in the nicest, most dignified, humane way.
I think that's right, Chris. Though I do want to quarrel a little bit with something you said in the lead-in.
Please.
When you started, you said that hanging, the guillotine, that those are reliable technologies. I guess it's not clear what you mean by reliable. There is no foolproof technology for executing someone. There have been botched executions of all kinds. There have been botched efforts to use the firing squad. So there is an effort in the United States to find a technology of execution that is safe, reliable, and humane. And we've gone from hanging to the electric chair to the gas chamber to lethal injection. And now we're in a period where states are scurrying to try to find a method of execution that'll satisfy this command that our executions be safe, reliable, and humane. Alas, unfortunately, there is no foolproof method for executing. There's no foolproof method for ensuring that when we put someone to death, we will do so in a way that comports with our values and commitments.
This is a really key point. Let's talk about the current sort of lethal injection preferred method. Much of that protocol has been engineered around the comfort and sensibilities of the people watching it, as opposed to the inmate, him or herself. In the case of the famous 3-drug cocktail, one of those drugs was to immobilize the person on the gurney so that they were not wriggling around and upsetting the witnesses, right? I mean, this whole process is about the sensibilities not being offended as we watch this happen.
Look, when we talk about a humane execution, or an execution that's not cruel, we can think about it from at least two perspectives. We can think about it from the perspective of the person being executed. And yes, there is a commitment to reducing the pain associated with execution. Indeed, the United States Supreme Court has said that there shall be no more pain than is absolutely necessary. But on the other hand, we can think about the question of whether an execution is humane as to whether or not that execution or that execution method comports with our values or offends our sensibilities. And I think, as you've just pointed out, it's certainly true in lethal injection. There is this tension, this desire to, on the one hand, reduce the pain of the condemned, and on the other hand, to assuage our own doubts and conscience. I thought your question about why it is that we don't know who actually fires the lethal bullet in a lethal injection, I thought that was a telling one. And I think the answer is because, in a way, what we want to do is we want to diffuse responsibility. We want to do this deed, but we don't want anyone to feel particularly that they're responsible for doing it. And that question, I think, is a very important one. Why is it that we don't want anyone to feel that they are responsible for doing the deed of ending someone's life in an execution?
I've been thinking a lot as we've seen these horrific videos coming from the Middle East and ISIS about a beheading, and there's something like particularly gruesome about it. But of course, Saudi Arabia beheads people as the means by which they execute people.
Right.
And there is something at the core of this that is we both are embracing, because this country, unlike other countries in our cohort, embrace the death penalty, but we are simultaneously disgusted by. Your book is a must-read on this topic. Austin Sarek, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.